Okay, seeing that it's 7 o'clock, I'm going to open up the meeting of the Town of Halifax Planning Board. Currently, we're at 499 Plymouth Street in Halifax. The meeting began at 7 p.m. in the Selectmen's meeting room for the meeting of Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. Just a notation, it's an open meeting, and announce the time open. The planning board meeting is being recorded by Area 58 and can be viewed on YouTube. Okay, we have the tonight's agenda in front of us here. For appointments, we have Arnold Vera under discussion, the executive session minutes of February 2nd, 2023, meeting minutes, and some bills. Do I have a motion to, let's go to present at the meeting is Brendan Elliott, Amy Troop, myself, Bert Gaynor, Tom Millius, and we have Rick Murray on Zooming the meeting, along with Danielle Akiki. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to accept the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye. I'll ask for a roll call vote. Brendan?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Myself, yes. Tom?
Yes.
And Rick?
Yes.
Okay, so moved. Passes. All right, let's get on to the first one. Make this nice and quick, nice and easy. The first one is continue the application of 24-SPR-244, Arnold Vera, site plan review. He's asking for a current extension which expires on April 5th. The applicant is requesting a 30-day extension to May 5th, 2025. We do have the extension form, which is already signed by the applicant. We do have the member of the Zoom meeting. I'll ask for a roll call vote. Well, let's first, do I have a motion to accept the extension to May 5th?
Well, can I ask, so we received an email, and so he'll be presenting it by May 1st at least?
By May 1st?
Well,
Is that our...
Well, our last meeting's May 1st.
Okay.
Before this.
Yes, correct. Do I have a motion to accept the request for the extension?
One more question. Do we have his final site plan in with everything so that we're not extending again, or?
It's just the renditions, I think, that are missing.
That was the only thing that was missing, I believe, was the rendition.
Okay. So we'll just bring it up again on May 1st if he is not here. All right.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to extend 24-SPR-244 Arnold Vera for 30 days from April 5th to May 5th, 2025.
And do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion to accept and a second to accept the extension. I'll ask for a voice vote. Brendan?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Tom?
Yes.
And Rick?
Yes.
Passes unanimous.
So one question. Do I put the 30 days in here now, I would imagine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Said 30 day time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know.
Thank you.
The only thing is that the new wording it says is that the evidence necessary and pertinent to the petition being brought before the board. You know what I mean? We kind of don't really know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's awkward, but...
So you agree it's...
yeah.
Okay, thank you. The Those are just the old copies, we don't need them. All right, let's skip over. Let's do the meeting minutes of March 6, 2025 and get them out of the way. Anybody have any corrections, deletions, or additions? Thursday, March 6, 2025.
No, sir. I don't have any.
I looked it over. I do not have any either.
You looking for a motion?
Yes, please.
Motion to accept the minutes from March 6th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the meeting minutes of Thursday, March 6, 2025. I'll ask for a voice vote. Brendan?
Yes.
Amy?
Abstain.
Myself, yes. Tom?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Passes 4-0 to 1. All right, let's do some bills. We have,
I want to do it for you.
sure, please, thank you.
Make a motion to pay planning board account 300 in the amount of $352.40 to PGB Engineering for services rendered between March 1st and March 31st, 2025 for 314 Plymouth Street.
Second.
I have a motion to accept the bill.
Oh, I thought you reading it was the motion.
No, that was my motion.
Oh, it was,
I made a
oh,
motion.
okay. Motion and
Oh,
a
you thought I
second.
was making it funny?
I did. I'll ask for a voice vote, then I have a motion to accept to pay the bills as presented. Brendan?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Tom?
Yes.
Rick?
Okay.
Unanimous, 5-0-0.
I was making it funny. I would have made a motion to adjourn.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Let's move into the final item here, discussion. The executive session minutes of 2/2/23.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, I can't participate in this as I was not on the board at that time.
Okay. Be like that. There you go. What do we do? We got to submit something. Oh, I have some information. I did a little homework. And what I have is, this is the copy of the finding from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Office of the Attorney General when the, this is in regards to the open meeting law complaint that was submitted for the meeting of February 2nd, 2023. And there are 5 pages here with a conclusion. And included in there also are the emails which dated from November 3rd, 2023 with I made a copy for everybody. Where the Attorney General's office has been asking us, telling us to submit the minutes. So, from what I understand, the Attorney General's office is not happy, has certainly been in contact with the office here and members to present something. We are in relation, or they spelled it out on the last couple of pages of sections, chapters, and whatnot. There were evidently 3 different complaints, but one of them they threw out. But nevertheless, we have no minutes. And we need to put them together. So I think at our last meeting, we thought it was going to be something simple where we could check the file, where the minutes were put into the file, and the files were certainly checked
Right.
2 years ago, and all 3 of them, because there were 3 different items that we went into executive session on, and And then, again, the desks and whatnot that were checked and double-checked, there were no minutes there either. So we got to come up with some minutes.
Last page. Why is Alan Diaz copied in on this?
He was the one that initiated the complaint.
Wait. Oh. Alan Diaz from the Conservation Committee?
Same one, yes.
Oh. He is the one that initiated the complaint against us for the open meeting violation?
Yes. There was another request from the building inspector for the minutes of 222 when we were, discussing, going around and round about, different issues with all three of those topics. But the complaint itself was issued by Mr. Diaz. I think there's a date in there somewhere that says,
Yeah, the 23rd. I'm sorry, 2023. Right on the front there, November 3rd, 2023.
I think the meeting was the 2nd. I think he did it the 9th, Brendan, if I'm not
No, I
mistaken.
was just going based off of that.
This office received a complaint from Alan Diaz on March 15th, 2023.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that was sweet of him.
Yep. Well, evidently the Attorney General's office agreed with them.
Yeah.
That we don't have them, and they weren't done, so
Anything to poke the bear and cause some trouble, right? All right, so I will default to what are your thoughts first, I guess. What are your solutions? What are we thinking? If we don't have minutes and we need to submit minutes, what's the protocol?
we have to write them. To the best of our abilities, from what can remember.
Like any good history book, just what we remember?
Any just
the winners win and
history book.
the losers were the bad guys?
I zoomed, from my recollection, I don't know if you guys remember, I was in Florida, I zoomed the meeting.
Yeah.
And there was, I do recall, in looking at the minutes and reviewing the video when we went into executive session, in regards to those, to what was discussed.
Yeah.
I guess there was also discussion about, specifically, I'm talking about Delia Way.
Yeah.
Specifically in regards to what can be done about in fixing and improving the road. At the time,
Right.
there were pictures taken, there were, I don't mean to put my back to you, so.
No. He's not in this. You happily not in this. Yeah. Right. No, I mean, so I definitely remember the Delia Way thing because we were still in that same situation where, the developer wasn't releasing the lot, but had cut down some trees, left them on the side of the road, the holes in the pot, right? Are we talking about the same, or is that Amanda Estate? Well, not Amanda Estate.
I don't remember the trees on.
Yeah, didn't they do
That's
some?
Pasture Lane.
That was pasture lane where they cleared some of the trees and left them on the side of the road? Okay.
I mean, Delia Way had no issues. It was just there was something going on with the street, manhole or something, and
Oh,
Caving in,
right.
putting the
it was
plates
really.
on.
I questioned at the time why we even had to go into executive session for that.
That's right. That's right.
Right, because we did discuss the other streets that were not in executive session.
Right.
But Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, you I think specifically it was, you had discussions with town council and the board of selectmen. There were emails sent and pictures and whatnot of the cave-ins and the double plates and drainage system.
I
And it's a
vaguely
matter
remember all,
a matter of public
cases
safety.
by now. I mean, I remember, but I don't remember all the specific details of
Yeah.
that now.
But I mean, I think that's how we morphed into it,
So that's the easier one. because it was, to Rick's point, I do remember that conversation, because we were in the big room.
Yep.
Right? So you or Rick, bringing up also like, why are we even talking about this in this?
Right, 'cause
Right, in an
Pastor
executive
Lane
session at least, not on a regular agenda meeting.
And I think the Attorney General's office pointed out that, which is something I didn't know it was educated by, was even though it's no reason to go into executive session for potential lawsuit or
Got it.
possible lawsuit, to discuss strategy that may or may not occur, which, hey, live and learn. You learn by your mistakes. That's the way I look at it. But
And what exactly was the open meeting violation that caused us needing to go into executive session? Can you jog my memory on that?
yes, it's all in there. Let's see. It might even be in conclusions there, Brendan.
Okay.
I think one they didn't explain why we're going to open into executive session for Delia Way. They're supposed to explain why you have a reason to. And then plus, what was the other, Amanda Estates or something? The only thing really, what they're saying, the only thing that really should have been in that executive session was 314 Plymouth Street, because we were in litigation with them at the time.
Right. I think if we were to put piece those minutes back together, our conversation about Delia Way and Amanda Estates was that we didn't need to have a conversation about Delia Way and Amanda Estates in a closed executive session.
I don't really 100% remember, to be honest with you. I literally just don't remember all the details of it any longer. It's been so long.
On page 4, Brendan, it starts at the very top, first, second, third, and then on page 5, it goes, as a result of these procedural violations.
Got it.
In the conclusion, in addition, we order the board to release those portions of the minutes of February 2nd executive session that pertain to the discussion of Delia Way and recusal of Amanda Estates, subject to any
Right, so that's
actions
good. That's good.
authorized under. And again, on page 4, where they go first, second, third, and whatever, they do spell out the open meeting law, chapter, verse, line, everything.
So the refusal of Amanda Estates, that was your recusal, right?
Yes, it was.
That was about,
Yep.
I think he was zooming from, I remember you having to scan your house a couple of times. That's what I remember about that meeting.
The recusal wasn't for you.
Yes, it was. The recusal was, well, it wasn't just me. It was me and
okay.
Mark. It was both.
See, I didn't remember it was you at all.
Right.
Because I don't think that I ever saw the letter that recused, or I don't remember it now.
The letter
I
that,
didn't, like I said, if I saw that, I wouldn't remember that you were part of that.
yeah, that was the letter.
We had a letter that said you didn't have to recuse from that, right?
And then I have a letter from the Ethics Commission that said,
Yeah.
no, I did not
Yeah,
meet the requirements for recusal. And that was the big discussion. Even prior to the Zoom, to the February 2nd meeting, it was, okay, let's look into this and find out what we should or should not be doing. In which case, I called the Ethics Commission, and who was it? Michael, somebody sent the letter, I think it's in the file. T. Michael McDonald, the Assistant General Counsel of the State Ethics Commission.
Yes, it should be.
Yeah, I have a copy of that here if you want it. I thought it would.
A copy of what, I'm sorry?
This is the letter from the Ethics Commission that says, no, I did not have to recuse myself.
That wasn't up to me or anything like that. I have no idea.
So that's one of the things we discussed at that meeting.
Right, it was specifically, I made mention, just as a recollection, it was, okay, I called the Ethics Commission, and I think it was Brendan Saberta, you should get something in writing. And I said, yes, I got it right here, and I flipped my tablet over, showed you that I had the letter in writing, and then I forwarded this to, for the file, the actual letter that in the email that he sent me.
That may be true, I don't recall it.
So can I
It is
just,
true.
I'm not stating that it's not, I'm saying I don't recall.
can I ask a logistical question? What I'm struggling with, one is even asking this question on record. So we don't have official minutes, but we're being asked to submit minutes, and we're having an open conversation on a recorded line about how we're going to come up with those minutes from a meeting that happened 2 years ago. So wouldn't that then also lead to whatever we put together can revert back to this meeting on record saying, look, they kind of were winging it?
No, we were discussing what went on as we best recall.
And so now my question is that going to be acceptable?
I asked the same question. And I said,
Okay, this is a
and
good
I'm
answer.
looking
This is, I like it. All
for
right.
something to appease the Attorney General's office.
Yeah.
Is this going to be enough?
And then I'll remain nameless, but they may be included on this email chain here. The original complaint filer goes, hey, look at this video, right? It shows from April 3rd, 2025 on an official meeting that they all went back and forth going, but we submitted something to the Attorney General.
Right.
I don't accept that. I actually now want to double down on my complaint, my
He can do
lawsuit.
that. He can. Yeah, look, this is the best we can.
I agree.
Do, our best recollection. And like you said, it's an open meeting. It's
Right.
not like we're sitting in the dock somewhere trying to come up with, make up false information. This is our best recollection as to what happened.
I guess I'm just curious about the severity. Obviously, very serious if the Attorney General's involved, but the severity of it, kind of like a body goes missing, and the detective asks you where you were, and you go, "Best to my recollection,
Yeah.
my recollection was I was at my friend's house, but he probably doesn't remember either. I'm going to jail." You know what I mean? Not to make, I mean, obviously that's a very extreme example. I want to be cautious about our process here as to what we say our executive meetings were. If the Attorney General is saying, listen, we get it, it happens, get us something to the best of your recollection,
I
and
think
we'll
that's
accept that.
exactly what they're saying.
Perfect. Then,
You know,
then let's move forward. But if
And
that's
I
not
think in
what
the
they're
same
saying, then...
breath, Brendan, we've always submitted minutes,
Yeah.
which is just minutes. It's just that, even by definition, by law. It's certainly not a transcript. We're not transcribing anything like that. This is to our best recollection.
Got it.
So
Okay.
we got to come up with something.
That's the only clarity I wanted, because I'm all about jogging our memories, and that made me think of that. But for me to personally go on the record to say this is what we discussed, as long as to the best of our recollection is acceptable, I'm all in. If it's not, I'm going, I don't remember it.
Yep. Well, I think that's why on the first one I thought was, well, actually the second one was the easiest one, the recusing of the Amanda Estates. Once I produced it, we had a discussion, Bert, it'd be great if you had it in writing. Here it is right here.
Yep.
Didn't have to recuse. Well,
Right. I do remember that conversation.
pretty cut and dry. There really wasn't any discussion over it once I showed you the letter.
Right.
It wasn't like, it was pretty concrete.
Which is why I said, it'd be
Bingo.
great to have it in writing. We get it.
That's
We
the
can move on.
easiest one.
So that's easy.
Right.
The third one was
Don't you
The
have,
third one says we don't
we
have
don't
to
even
deal
have
with
to
the
talk
third
about.
one.
So the first one is 314.
314.
Which was the Starbucks,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. And that's.
And that was the lawsuit over the drive-through,
it was the whole project.
the whole
altogether.
project. We declined it. They sued us because they didn't feel as though
They threatened to.
they threatened to sue us.
But it was like a,
So I think all that amounted to is we decide, okay, let them have another shot.
That's right. That's exactly what happened.
I do remember that.
That is exactly what happened. So we got notice that after we shut that project down through it was a unanimous vote, no, that they came back with a threatening to sue. We were given advice by town council, right, that it's in our best interest to let them reapply, right, and hear it through another, whatever adjustments they made. And we made a collective decision that I think I even probably said it, knowing me, with a little bit of humor to it, or trying to be, probably in a misplaced amount of time, but it was like, let them come back in if they want to waste their time, because we already shut it down unanimously. I don't know what they think they're going to do, but if it's going to avoid a lawsuit, bring them back in and we'll hear them back out. And I think everybody's just fine. I mean, we got nothing to lose here, and if we got nothing to lose with that, then we'd rather that than a lawsuit.
And evidently, the Attorney General's office doesn't have a problem with that in regards to this.
Right.
It was just the two.
Rick, does that sound familiar, that it was like, why wouldn't we? I mean, we just shut them down 5-0.
That does sound familiar.
So if they're going to threaten to sue, we may as well let them come back if they want to waste their time. And then we just agreed.
And that's pretty much, I think that's all that amounted to.
Yeah.
It wasn't really.
It was a quick meeting.
What are you gonna talk about?
Yeah. I think that was, I mean, that executive session was less than a 10-minute meeting, if I remember correctly. I mean, it's not like we sat around and.
I don't remember how long it was.
Long enough for Brett to zoom his house a couple times.
Yeah.
That's what town council said to do.
Who said to do that?
Town council. On the phone, when I was on the phone with them.
Well, at any rate, that's what I remember. Now that we're jogging down memory lane, it was why wouldn't we let them come in, especially if it's going to avoid the lawsuit? And we just shut them down, so I can't imagine what else they would bring to the table. So sure, and if that's going to satisfy our town council's advice, then sure, let them come back in. And who knew that future would hold that they would then get the project through just by threatening with a lawsuit.
Okay, so that's 2 out of 3. And then Dealey Way. Basically, it was very short and sweet from what I remember. It was,
that one I'm
we
not
spoke with town council. There was a letter going to be sent in regards to the street itself. Board of Selectmen gave you, you attended, there was a meeting, I pulled up the meetings, you attended a meeting, they said, yes, go ahead and talk to town council, and a letter was going to be submitted to the developer. And then, in the meantime, Mr. Spellman passed away, and, you know, this is years gone by, so to speak.
Yeah, I wasn't as involved in that Delia Way conversation, but I do remember it to that point.
I remember it existed, yep.
Yeah. But the exact details are a little foggy on, so. But it sounds like you have a pretty good recollection of the conversation.
What I did was I went back to the Board of Selectmen's meeting, I went back to our previous meeting, you know, viewed it, took the minutes, you know, and oh yeah, you know, one of those things.
You had extraneous notes from it as well,
Which one?
from the executive session.
No, I was just researching. Those were from the
Last meeting you had
from the
those, and
Board
you
of
said that they were the extraneous
well,
notes.
they
from
were.
my knowledge.
No, they were. I did just that. I looked at the meetings. I took down notes from the selectmen's meeting, from our open session meeting, from our previous open session meeting, and
When did you do that?
oh God, since it had been about 3-4 weeks ago, since they were really buckling down, the Attorney General's office was pushing either that they were going to start fining the town for us not complying with their requests, and we needed to do something. So I like you said, it didn't make any sense to me to sit there and go, no, I just don't remember. You know, I tried to do whatever I could to pull something up.
The good news is that as we obviously don't have a record, which we've established, and the request is out for us to submit something, it seems as though you've done your due diligence on the Delia Way.
Try to do a little
So
bit
it's
more.
not like anybody could accuse us of just pulling it out of our back pocket, right? You've done research, for a couple different meetings, pulled it together, pulling on recollection on that.
All right.
I would support your recollection on Delia Way, and I'm very confident in our conversation about 314 being why wouldn't we just let them back in for a session to avoid a lawsuit?
Something to do with the fact that we had to let them do traffic studies and of the like before we said
Right.
no.
Right.
Well, then my question is, okay, where do we go from here? Amy, you want to take a shot at doing the minutes again, or from your?
I think you have more of the information to do them than I do.
Well, I mean, you at the last meeting said yes, you did take the minutes.
I did.
Yeah.
And I left them in the desk.
All right,
That was right
he just
there.
did it. All right. Here's what Bert did. Right, wrong, or indifferent. You can pass it down. This is the best I could come up with.
Oh, so you already have?
I just tried it.
okay,
You know,
okay.
I was hoping one of you guys or someone else
Understood.
would come up with something, but this is what I took a shot at.
Sure.
All right? Right, wrong, or indifferent. Rick, do you have a... No, you don't have a copy of it because I have your copy in my hand, sorry.
Yeah, so that's good for Delia Way. I would just add to the second one that our actual conversation was, it seemed like a no-brainer to let them back on the agenda, to open the case back up, or what would that be called? Not case.
Yeah, but at this specific meeting, I was trying to keep it as vague, you know.
Got it.
You
Yep.
know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying our conversation, right? I know it's not a transcript, it's just minutes, but the general consensus of the group was if they want to come back, that's fine, and that's going to be better than a lawsuit. Having them come back, allowing them to come back before us is going to definitely be, the upside to that significantly outweighs the downside to a lawsuit.
Do you think reading this would satisfy the Attorney General's office? That was in my head when I was trying to put something together.
And
What do you mean? Reading it now?
If we submit these as our minutes, do you think that'll be enough for the Attorney General's office to say, yes,
Right.
the Board of, the Planning Board of Halifax has performed the request that we asked them in it.
I specifically also think it, for whatever it's worth, I mean, obviously this is a little bit of a smaller agenda here, but I remember going into executive session, never having gone into an executive session before, so not really knowing what to expect. And then it took like 10 minutes and I went, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
Right, so it wasn't like there was a big, long dialogue that is missing here. That's because the meeting didn't take that long. That's about how long the meeting took, was how long it takes to read this.
And we all voted yes on that, right? I got that right? Yes, 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 and yes.
On the adjournment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't
I would
anything
imagine
else.
so.
There wasn't anything we decided there, really.
No.
I mean, I don't think anybody would vote no to adjourning from
No.
the executive session, right? No, I want to stay in it.
Yeah. No.
Let's go around Bert's house again.
Yeah. No, I think that's exactly it.
Does that need to be in here?
What's that?
That we did the Zoom and like,
I don't think it should be
just
in there.
because they only said that because they wanted to make sure that the executive session was secure.
So
So you
the
don't
reason
think
I
it
say
needs-
is no, because I spoke to Rick Huxham about that, and he said 39A of the state code only required me to attest to the fact that I am alone, not within earshot, and that's the state law. And when I talked to Rick Huxham, he knew nothing about the conversation
Okay, but
with you
so listen, stay
about
here.
scanning the house.
Stay here.
Could have been
I'm
public
trying to.
access.
Stay here. So here's what we'll do. I think
I don't remember now.
that
I
think that other than maybe a sentence, but I'm at, why not submit this? And if they say it's not good enough, we can add to it, I guess. But unless you just want to say, because we have nothing to hide.
Exactly.
at all.
No, all we did was the.
Everything was always above board. I mean, that's the nice part about our board. I like to think
Well,
usually it's above.
I did this,
right? So,
you know, it was shortly after our last meeting.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was, we didn't get into all the detail we just did now. I just thought less was more.
yeah.
You know?
Because again, if they were asking for a transcript, that's different. That's not what they're asking for.
No,
It's
these
what
are
did you guys
minutes.
talk about?
These are minutes,
Yeah.
right.
I would be confident to sign off on this based off of what it sounds as though we're being asked of.
Amy, what do you think? You took, you know, it was your meeting, you know, it's.
It wasn't my
is
meeting, it was
no,
our
you-
meeting.
You were the acting chair is what I meant at the time.
Without a secretary
Yep.
and doing the best I possibly could.
Absolutely.
Never running an
100%.
executive session in my life.
Exactly, that's why.
Well, you did a great job because I remember going, that was easy. So, yeah. What are your thoughts? Because so we all have to sign this, assuming everybody agrees to it, correct?
We have to vote it and then sign
Vote and
it.
sign it. Okay.
And then we have to vote to release it.
Yeah.
My only question is what were the dates of the release of any lawsuits and things like that, or anything like that, or that would have been a timestamp? Like, when did that all release? Because I don't recall any of those
What's that?
times.
What-
I mean, not that any of them would be open now. I'm stating on when did Starbucks and everything release that? Was that like days later? Was it? I don't remember all that information is unless it was in front of me in the file.
Right,
You know what I mean? So,
specifically.
yeah.
But in the same breath, the Attorney General's office had no problem with that, because they only went
No
with
problem.
Delia Way. They said there is, in conclusion, they're only concerned with the violations of Delia Way and the recusal. They were not concerned about 314.
What was the violation on Delia? I think it was just to protect what we were doing for Delia Way from it being publicly talked about to. That's all I remember,
I
but
think their point is it didn't have to go into executive session. We could have talked about it either way in open meeting, just like we always have with Pasture Lane over the years.
Right. I believe we brought Delia Way into executive session in case for some reason we were speaking out of turn.
Second, with respect to the executive session topic listed as Delia Way, I'm on page 4. The board states that the discussion involved attorney advice on strategy with respect to the property. A public body's discussion with its counsel do not automatically fall under Purpose 3 or any other purpose for holding an executive session.
Yeah.
See that rather, this purpose offers the narrow opportunity to discuss strategy with respect to litigation that is pending or clearly and imminently threatened or otherwise demonstrably likely.
well, we were trying to figure out what we were going to need to do.
Right.
The board has not suggested that the discussions during the executive session on February 2nd pertaining to Delia Way related to pending litigation or to a decision to pursue litigation. Furthermore, executive session purpose 3 does not cover discussions with counsel about general areas of law unrelated to any litigation matter. We find that the notice with respect to this topic included insufficient information from which the public could conclude that Delia Way topic was appropriate for executive session. So
Yeah.
basically, bottom line, we shouldn't have gone in.
Yeah, and so that's what that was. That conversation was brought into executive session because we were speaking about it openly, and I forget, I'm not sure who or what, but it was brought up of, do we have the right to say this, or were we putting ourselves in a position to potentially open ourselves up to a lawsuit by the developer of Delia Way for speaking about Delia Way without Delia Way being on our agenda or giving them an opportunity to be here while we're speaking about it? So we went into executive session because something needed to be decided on of what we were doing moving forward, and it needed to be not of public record so that we didn't open ourselves up to a lawsuit for that. And then when we had the conversation in executive session, it was, council said we just got to send, a letter and get the street fixed.
Right.
And it was okay.
Basically, it
That's
boiled down to Mr. Sylvester's counsel, with our town council and the town administrator
Right.
involved. Because we didn't
that's
know,
years later.
I speak for myself, I didn't know what the procedure was or how you convey a covenant from one, or if you even could, from one person to another. There's legal stipulations involved. But there was, again, no litigation at the time. And they're saying, if I read it correctly, I get out of it that there basically was no strategy. There wasn't a need to. It was just like a fact finding. Let's find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Or how we go about doing it.
And not speaking it on public record in an open meeting where it could be the inappropriate place. So we defaulted to executive session since we already had an executive session set up to say, hey, is this a town council thing? Is this are we reaching out to them directly? Because we don't want to open it up to a public meeting because it may actually be worse that way. Now they're saying, well, you didn't have to do that. Okay, well,
Right.
good that we know that now, but we were going to default to that before, right?
Right.
And so when I used to write the agendas, remember I used to say on Mondays, here's the proposed
Yeah.
agenda. Does anybody have any adding or subtracting?
Yes.
And on Tuesday, after everybody was okay with it, I would post it. So we all approved it. And we went forward with it. We opened up the meeting. We approved the agenda, publicly, and then move forward. But I did that all by email because I was not taking full responsibility because we are a 5-member board and believed that we all should participate in the ability of creating the
Right.
agenda.
Right.
They went into specifics of
Yeah.
how it was read we were going into the executive session as part of
Just go down?
Yeah.
Your notebook.
Oh, I was like, how
Pull it
did
up.
that just
Stand up.
happen? Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, your bag is
Thanks.
spun around.
That scared me.
And they made mention, yes, the acting chair did say it's on the agenda to go into executive session. And I think one of the sentences said, should have said it one more time before we actually went in. So, like I
Okay.
said, you live and learn, you've never done this
Yeah.
before. Exactly.
And again, executive session was not done out of malice or with any malicious intent. It was not done in any way to manipulate an agenda of any kind. It was, we had a pending threat of a lawsuit from a major corporation to the town of Halifax.
And they had no problem with that one, the Attorney General's
Right,
office.
and the Delia Way we just discussed at length, and the other one was, we don't even need to explain it, so, because you had the letter. So as far as I'm concerned, and let this meeting serve as a backup as we discuss some pretty finite details of how that meeting went. I mean, it's not like we're winging it. We're coming up with almost the dialogue of the conversation.
Yep.
So I think between this meeting and this piece of paper, sign it, send it.
Is that your motion?
I don't remember.
Good one.
Rick, do you have anything else? I mean, would you feel comfortable approving this executive session? Oh, you haven't.
Do you want us
Did you send
to?
this down?
Do you want us to hold this up to the camera or something so
Oh, you
that
want to
you
read
can
it to
see
them?
it?
Do that too.
Could read it to me.
Once
Sorry.
upon a time, in a land far, far away. Are you tucked into bed yet? Do you want me to read it? You want to read it?
Go ahead.
All right. In attendance, Vice Chair Amy L. Troop, Rick Mary, Brendan Elliott, and Robert Burt Gaynor via Zoom. Absent, Chairman Mark Milius. Number 1, Delia Way. Amy Troop informed the board as to the strategy for Delia Way. She stated what was discussed at a board selectmen's meeting on January 10th, 2023. At that time, the Board of Selectmen voted to send a letter to the developer to address the sinkholes and disrepair to the road and to request a remedy. Bullet point number 2, notice of action from petition number 983, appealing the decision of the planning board regarding Starbucks to be located at 0-314 Plymouth Street. Town council has the appeal and the planning board will be advised as to the next steps as to which next steps should be taken. Right. Bullet point number 3, Bert Gaynor was questioned regarding his recusal from discussion of Amanda Estates / a party trust due to a request from resident Gordon C. Andrew. And in parentheses here we have Chairman Mark Milius was also asked by Mr. Andrews to recuse himself. Bert had contacted the State Ethics Commission and received an opinion from the board that there was no reason for that he had to recuse himself. The executive session adjourned. Roll call. Amy, Rick, Brendan, and Bert all voted yes. Those are the minutes for the executive session of February 2nd, 2023.
It sounds pretty good.
I don't understand on Delia Way, Amy Troop informed the board as to the strategy, or did I discuss the board with the board as to the strategy? That would be, I didn't.
I put informed, you informed us that you had spoken with town council per the Board of Selectmen, and you spoke with the Board of Selectmen, so yeah, you told us that.
Well, I talked to you about a meeting, but I didn't tell you that that was what the strategy was. That's how I'm reading it. Am I reading
I
it?
remember before we went into executive session, I questioned why we would go into executive session for Delia Way, and you said, trust me. So you said you're going to have
I think
trust.
that was in the
That's what you
minutes.
said. So that was the end of that.
I think you're right, Rick, that was in the minutes.
I think the way I read that is that you informed us of the information you gathered in regards to what the discussion this discussion that needed to follow, right? Because you always do your due diligence, and you did that, and then you were bringing us that information to inform us of that due diligence.
I only wish that all the notes that I wrote down were still available.
Yeah. And the person that filed.
So Rick, what do you think?
Well, as far as approving those minutes,
Yes.
as far as minutes go, I think it pretty much covers it. You know, I mean, like you said, they're minutes. It's not verbatim.
Yeah, it's not a transcript.
Hey, that was just my attempt. You guys want to make an attempt? Go for it.
I'm glad you made an attempt, because I was going to actually, the next step was, how do we get to here? So we're here. So you did it already. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't have anything to add. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the executive board, the executive session for February 2nd, 2023 as written, as well as please use this, meeting that we're having right now to show that we have the transcript itself almost verbatim,
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor and a second to accept the minutes of the executive session of February 2nd, 2023. I'm going to ask for a roll call vote. Brendan?
Yes.
Amy?
Abstain.
Myself, yes. Rick?
Yes.
Passes 3-0-1.
And now we have to release it to the public. I guess we already did.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, as part of.
Well, because it's executive session, we have to actually vote. Now, can you vote on that to release it?
No.
No. Okay, I didn't know if it was a completely separate issue.
I don't think so.
So we're making a motion to release the minutes from the executive session to the public.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to be able to release the minutes from the planning board meeting executive session on February 2nd, 2023. I'll call for a voice vote. Brendan?
Yes.
Amy?
Abstain.
Myself, yes. Rick?
Yes.
Passes.
Move to adjourn.
No, I think there's one more.
PGB. Oh, no, we did that.
Oh, we have to schedule the next meeting.
Yep, no, I think there was one more thing about releasing this to the public. Do we have to vote? No, I guess we don't have to vote to send it to the Attorney General's office. No, I think we're good. Let's just go with that.
Do you want to have that vote just so that you can feel comfortable with it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll just to make sure we check the box, right? Make a motion that after filing these minutes, we send our copy directly over to the Attorney General to satisfy the request.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Not even.
Second.
You're not gonna second anything tonight? Okay.
Motion and a second to forward the executive session minutes of the planning board of February 2nd, 2023. Again, I'll call for a voice vote. Brendan?
Yes.
Amy?
Abstain.
Myself, yes. Rick?
Yes.
Passes. 301. Okay. How about, let's sign this then. When do we do that?
Which one do you want to sign?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Rick, you're gonna probably have to come in to sign it so they have 3 signatures.
All right.
Yeah.
Will you accept a motion to adjourn?
That's a great idea.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting of the Halifax Planning Board for February, what's today? 3rd.
April 3rd.
You're getting the thirds
It's
confused.
Thursday. It's 2025. We're in Halifax, Massachusetts.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. Thanks, Rick.